up everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we will be reacting to why you need to watch Indycar in 2024. I'm quite excited to get into this because I don't watch Indycar, but one of you commented on one of my videos. I think it was on my, not actually sure, but I did a recent video where I didn't react to NASCAR, I reacted to a best of rally, and then a lot of people were like, oh, you should react to this motorsport and this one and this one. So one of you mentioned that I should react to Indy, so I'm quite interested to get into it. I don't know much about it. I know a couple of drivers that are in it, and like some people have moved from F1 to Indy and so forth. So I'm hoping this video will give me more of an insight explanation of what it is and why I should watch it in 2024, hopefully, because that's what the video is called. And who knows, maybe I'll get into it. I ended up getting into NASCAR because of the videos that people recommended I watched, so who knows, it might persuade me to watch Indy now as well. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe. I hope half of you that are watching my videos aren't subscribed. Just hit the bell, it takes 2 seconds. Okay, I'm very intrigued and excited to get into this video.
As I'm sure many of you will know, this channel started and always has been about Formula 1 and taking the piss out of it. In recent years, that's been particularly easy to do. These days, I don't even need to write the jokes anymore, as the sport hands me material on a silver plate. People have asked me though, given I slag it off so much, do I actually enjoy it? And of course I do. I've loved it since I was still in the womb. Is it the best single-seater championship motorsport has to offer these days? You see, I don't think so. F1 is known for its engineering battleground. Rafts of highly educated people, way smarter than you or I, finding the fastest way to traverse a racetrack. Hundreds upon thousands of hours, all culminating in... Yeah, while this is special in its own right, the approach does have drawbacks. The cars we get are never designed to race alongside one another, even when we've tried to design the regulations for that very purpose in more recent years. And that's just the tip of the iceberg in regards to problems surrounding the sport. I could go into the costs required for a team to operate, the cost required for a driver to get onto the grid, the cost required to buy a hat with Lance Stroll's name on it. Why you do that, I don't know, but these are all problems that won't go away, be that they're just ingrained into the sport's DNA or that it's run by a capitalist. You get the point. Wouldn't it be nice then to have a separate series, one that still carried some of the world's best single-seater talent, one more focused on the racing and the ability of the drivers, one which didn't cost a kidney to actually go and see? Well, what if I said such a series already exists? That is so fair.
I went to Silverstone in 2022 and that was like before, yes, it was still expensive, but it was before they astronomically put the prices up. I was like, yes, I'm going to make this a yearly thing, if not every other year thing. I went to get tickets for last year. Tell me why. The same seat that I sat in the grandstand for 2022 had doubled in price. Some of the seats to sit in the grandstand were nearly £1,000 per person, and I was like, why? Like, normal people that just enjoy and love the sport aren't going to have an extra grand lying about, and even if they did, they've still got to pay for like getting their hotels, actually spending money there. Like, it's just astronomical. So yes, I understand that. It's valid. I hope that one day I'll be able to go to Silverstone again, but it's not looking likely. I'd quite like to go to like the race that they do in Monza in Italy, because my favourite team is Ferrari, and obviously that is Ferrari is Italy. Like as I said in Drive to Survive, there's two religions in Italy. It's Catholic and Ferrari. So, you know, I hope that I go to Monza at some point, and it always falls on my birthday weekend. So I thought, there's nothing better than going to a race over your birthday. So hopefully that happens in the future at some point. But yeah, I understand what he's saying, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to go to Silverstone again. The prices are so high.
And we just needed to be brave and look to America. I've been covering IndyCar properly on the channel for just about a year now, and before that, on and off, when a few too many drivers hit the wall. But what last year taught me is that not enough people are taking the series seriously, and are so caught up in the stigma surrounding it, they're missing out on what I would argue is the best single-seater series on the planet.
Okay.
And yes, that means trumping F1. In case you've never heard of it before, IndyCar marks the top flight level of American single-seater racing. Its first event actually predates F1's inaugural race by almost half a century, taking place back in Portland back in June of 1909. It's
Wow.
a somewhat complicated history since then.
So IndyCar racing is about as old as time itself, if time began in the 1900s. The series began under the name Champ Car, underneath the governing body, the AAA, the American Automobile Association. The first official race of the series was a street race around Portland in 1909, which was a 14-mile-long track, which is absurd by today's standards. The majority of tracks were paved with dirt, except for one that stood out. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway was paved with bricks, making it the fastest track on the calendar due to improved grip. This allowed cars to travel up to 70 miles per hour. Alright, any 17-year-old in a Corsa can get that these days, but we're talking about cars with the structural integrity of Devlin DeFrancesco's IndyCar career. In 1911, the AAA had the ingenious idea to make this its own grand event, making it a 500-mile-long race and naming it the 1911 International 500-mile sweepstakes race, which was obviously renamed in due course, but it's always been referred to as the 500. The first winner of this fabled event was Ray Haroon in his custom-built Marmon Wasp, being the only car on the grid with a single seat. This saved weight, people noticed this, and thus the single-seater race car was born. The AAA sanctioned IndyCar races until 1956, when USAC inherited the series. The calendar was always pretty confusing. They had paved ovals, dirt ovals, street courses, road courses, and even the Pikes Peak hill climb. This would change in 1965, when Jim Clark won the Indy 500 in a car with a rear-fitted engine. This was massive because it allowed the car to travel closer to the ground, making it significantly quicker. Around a dirt track, not so much. USAC removed all dirt tracks from the calendar in 1970 in order to retain a consistent car build throughout the season. In 1979, the series split into kart and IndyCar due to disagreements with how the series was run, with IndyCar becoming the Indy Racing League in the 1990s. This kick-started a string of unfortunate drama which slashed the popularity of IndyCar racing as a whole, but it's way too much to discuss here. Basically, we don't like this man. Long story short, the two merged back together in 2008, reviving the IndyCar series that we know and love today.
Unlike Formula 1, IndyCar is a spec series. Well, for the most part. Whilst a selection of the internals, like dampers and anti-roll bars, can be manufactured by the teams, and on a race weekend the cars can be set up however the drivers like, any aerodynamic or high-performance parts are identical across the entire grid. The only exception to this is in the engine department, with Honda and Chevrolet the choice here, though again the performance differential is minimal at this point. Lotus used to be a supplier here too, but in short, their engines were piles of flaming hot shit back in 2012, so they're out of the picture nowadays. IndyCar is often criticised for this spec nature, but I feel those people don't quite understand the point. The sport isn't trying to be this technical war zone similar to the likes of Formula 1, and in keeping their cars as identical as possible.
I get where he's coming from. Every time he's slagging off F1, it's just hard to just sit here and listen to him slag off F1. I love that series. And yes, he said he enjoys it, but, you know, again, I understand where he's coming from, but still. Formula 1 is everything to me, so to sit here and listen to him slagging it off, I can't cope.
Fantastic and close racing. There's no one out there looking for a loophole that will allow the team to win all but one race that season. By contrast, IndyCar saw 7 different winners in 2023, in a year that was deemed a domination by champion Alex Palou anyway. There's a reason why you don't see many IndyCar predictions videos out there on YouTube. Admittedly, part of that reason is that there are so few IndyCar YouTubers out there to begin with, but the other is that with driver skill and track characteristics playing such a bigger role, the sport is so hard to predict in the first place. I say that like any of my F1 picks have come true over the last few years. Anyway, that's the spec nature of the series details.
Well, now all you've got to say is Max Verstappen and you've got the prediction.
Oh yeah, ovals. There's this false assumption that all Americans are able to do is turn left and put their foot down. Admittedly, it's one that I've used as a basis for many the joke over the years, and will likely use again, but IndyCar is so much more than just racing around ovals. The 2024 season will take place across 18 races, comprising of 4 street circuits, 7 purpose-built tracks, and a further 7 ovals. And whilst that might still sound like a lot of putting one's foot down and turning left, it's not necessarily that simple. The cars are also equipped with specialist aero kits for these events, meaning we still get to see some fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing, made all the more exciting given these cars are side by side at hundreds of miles per hour and centimeters from things going very, very wrong. Outside of the oval races, the series ventures into some of the most famous tracks America has to offer. One of IndyCar's biggest attractors, though, has to be the Indianapolis 500. The month of May is reserved for high-speed racing around the world's most famous oval complex. You can expect high-octane racing from start to finish, and given it takes place on the same day as the Monaco Grand Prix, you'll probably be in some need of that. Just watch my video on it from last year to know exactly what I mean. So we've spoken about the cars, and now the tracks. That leaves us with the teams and the drivers. Unlike Formula 1, IndyCar decided it actually wanted to have a silly season last year, so quite a lot has changed. Rather than go into everyone here, I'm just going to pick out a few specific names that you might want to keep your eye on in 2024. Reigning champion Alex Palou has stayed with Chip Ganassi Racing, despite signing a contract with McLaren for the 2024 campaign. We'll have to wait and see which higher-ups he chooses to piss off this season. The Spaniard will have new DHL backing this time round, the company switching from Andretti after Grosjean delivered his car into the wall a few too many times in 2023. Palou lines up alongside six-time champion Scott Dixon in the Chip Ganassi outfit, which also retains Marcus Armstrong and brings in rookies Linus Lundqvist and Kiffin Simpson for 2024. Their ongoing scrap with Team Penske is expected to continue this season, who keep their 2023 lineup of Chief Angry Man Will Power alongside Scott McLaughlin and 2023 Indy 500 winner Joseph Newgarden. The Andretti team will also look to bounce back after an uncharacteristically underwhelming season last year. Romain Grosjean has been jettisoned in a ball of flame and replaced with ex-F1 and Chip Ganassi racer Marcus Ericsson. The Swedes will line up alongside Kyle Kirkwood and Colton Herta, with all three drivers aiming to impress for a chance to contend for Andretti's F1 lineup when the sport eventually decide to stop being assholes and let them in. I've mentioned Grosjean a few times, and while many expected him to fall off the grid for this year, he's found a lifeline at Juncos Hollinger Racing. The Argentinian outfit fielded Britain Callum Ilott in 2023, and while he impressed, international relations saw him drop for the Phoenix in 2024. Let's also touch on McLaren, who would have fielded Pato O'Ward, Alexander Rossi and David Malukas in 2024. I said would as David pulled a Lance Stroll and picked a fight with his bicycle before the new season. That will see the Americans sit out of at least the opening round of the championship, and at the time of recording, his replacement is currently unknown. I know who I'd sign up though. I've only really scratched the surface here, but I hope this video has reached out to at least a few people who might now give IndyCar a chance in the new season.
It's reached me.
The opening race takes place on the 10th of March in St. Petersburg. And no, that's not the Russian one. I feel I have to make that clarification every year at this point. Viewers in the UK can watch all the action on Sky Sports F1, and unlike you Americans, we don't have to sit through adverts every 10 laps. We do have to sit through Tom Gamore's commentary instead though. Let me know what storylines you're excited for down in the comment section below.
I did really enjoy that video. And it looks like I'm probably going to watch IndyCar this weekend. That was going to be my next question. He didn't mention when the first race of the season was until the very end. It's the 10th of March, which is this Sunday. And the fact that it's on Sky Sports F1, love that. That's so easy for me because it means that I can just watch it without having to pay for anything else. So that's great. So, if anything, the universe is screaming at me to watch IndyCar. So yes, that video did reach out to me and I did enjoy it. And I still obviously don't know a lot about IndyCar, but that's given me more of an insight. And I'm looking forward to reacting to some more IndyCar videos over on this channel. So if you do watch IndyCar, and you have any videos about IndyCar that you'd like me to react to, drop them in the comments because I would love to work my way through them as I have been doing with the NASCAR videos. Because yeah, I'm probably going to watch IndyCar this weekend. Treat me, go on, I'm going to watch it. I'll have to update you all on what I think of the first race. I'm literally going to have no life this weekend because the F1 is on, so is the F2. The F1 Academy have their first race this weekend, then you've obviously got IndyCar, NASCAR, so it looks like I'm going to be watching motorsport all weekend this weekend, but it sounds like a perfect weekend to me, can't lie. So if you did enjoy this video, give it a like, subscribe. Like I said, if you have any other videos that you'd like me to react to, drop them in the comments. I am working my way through everybody's suggestions. If you want to check out any of my other socials, they are all linked down below. But I hope you enjoyed today's reaction, and I'll catch you next time for the next one. Bye!